Relieve, respond, revive. WSFL-TV presents The Rebound, South Florida.
The callers that I've been getting, just feeling like they're all alone, like they have no one to talk to because they're just not able to see anybody in real life.
The stress of living through a screen and being isolated from peers is hitting young people especially hard. One resource teens can turn to when they feel all alone. If Florida is going to rebound from COVID-19, the tourism industry needs to recover. What's being done to target both in and out-of-state travelers?
I'll never forget the first thing I told the pilot who mentored me. When he introduced me to aviation, I said, I don't think I'm smart enough to do this. Imagine if I would have believed that. I wouldn't be standing here right now.
A local pilot takes his dream to another level by giving back. The Rebound South Florida starts right now.
Tonight, the politics of pop-up vaccination sites. Following concern and outrage that the governor is now playing politics with the life-saving COVID-19 vaccine, we decided to take a closer look at all locations where the state is providing these extra shots. Here's what we found.
It wasn't a choice about zip codes. It was a choice about where's a high concentration of seniors.
It was a governor-chosen COVID vaccine clinic that inspired anger.
It's outrageous.
Threats.
Look, I mean, if Manatee County doesn't like us doing this, then we are totally fine with putting this in counties that want it.
Apologies.
I'm sorry.
And accusations.
It's so disingenuous. It's so unacceptable.
But while this recent clinic in a predominantly white Republican affluent Manatee County neighborhood made headlines last week, it's just one of more than 70 locations where the state has held what's known as pop-up vaccination clinics. 15 of them targeting senior communities, a governor priority for the vaccine.
Go where the seniors are.
And votes, critics say.
Are you satisfied with sort of where these pop-up vaccination sites are going?
No.
Representative Amari Hardy represents Democrat-dominant Palm Beach County, where pop-up clinics have taken place in 3 senior communities, mostly white, and growing with registered Republicans.
When the governor came down to Palm Beach County to Kings Point to vaccinate seniors, I was, of course, happy that seniors had access to the vaccine. But you know what? There are hundreds of units of senior housing right off of Tamarind Avenue in West Palm Beach, and those folks are majority black and brown. And yet the governor was not there.
How do we not look at this and say the governor is playing politics with this vaccine?
It's easy to say it's 100% politics.
Dr. Susan McManus is a political analyst on Florida's West Coast, where senior clinics have landed in 4 counties here, 3 of them Republican heavy.
The bottom line is these are places where there are huge concentrations of older voters. And right now, when your priority is to get as many people over 65 vaccinated as soon as possible, it makes a lot of sense to go where senior people are.
To date, nearly 48,000 first-dose shots have been administered to seniors during these senior-targeted pop-up clinics statewide. That's close to 30% more first shots than those given out at the state's 57 pop-up clinics held at minority churches, 7 of them in Palm Beach County. Usually, supply is limited to about 500 vaccines per church.
He's looking at the politics and he's not looking at the people.
We wanted to find communities that had high levels of seniors living in there.
In a partisan divided state, it's a controversy that will likely continue as long as vaccines are limited and political temperature is hot.
Ahead of a governor's race in another year, then sure, anything the governor does is going to be seen as political, and anything he doesn't do is going to be seen as political.
Katie Legrone, WSFL TV.
New research indicates that another side effect of the pandemic is a growing epidemic of loneliness. It's even worse than in the first months of the outbreak. The stress of living through a screen and being isolated from one's peers is hitting young people especially hard. In our ongoing series, How Are You Doing?, we take a look at how teens are feeling and a resource they can turn to when they feel the crush of being alone.
I had been the person that my friends kind of go and talk to when they're like something's on their mind or something's happening.
For the last 3 years, Mia Hutchinson has used her gift of listening to counsel her peers.
I did like 6 months where I just wrote emails, and then over the next 2.5 years, I've just been on texts and calls.
Hutchinson is one of about 100 volunteers for Teen Line, a peer-to-peer hotline started more than 4 decades ago.
Hi, this is
Teen Line. I'm Emma. What's your name?
Teen Line was started in 1980 by a group of mental health professionals who realized that when teens were struggling, they turned more readily to their peers than they did to the adults in their lives.
I'm here to talk about whatever's going on.
This video provided to us by Teen Line gives us a glimpse into what the operation looked like before the pandemic.
On a typical night, we usually have about 10 teens, and they're supervised by 3 to 4 adult mental health professionals.
Okay, so what's been going on?
It's now done completely remotely.
The callers that I've been getting, just feeling like they're all alone, like they have no one to talk to because they're just not able to see anybody in real life.
A new report from Harvard University helps answer the "how are you doing" question when it comes to teens. It suggests 36% of Americans are experiencing serious loneliness during the pandemic. This included 61% of young people aged 18 to 25. About half of lonely young adults in the survey reported that no one in the past few weeks had taken more than just a few minutes to ask how they are doing in a way that made them feel like the person genuinely cared.
What's going on tonight, Anthony?
We've seen increases in depression, in suicide, in anxiety, and just an overall kind of despair in a lot of ways.
Even more alarming, according to the CDC, mental health-related ER visits by 12 to 17-year-olds spiked 31% in 2020 compared to the same time last year.
My last couple of shifts, I've had just only suicide calls and like active suicide calls. And it kind of is just showing that like people are really starting to not be able to handle the whole situation with the pandemic anymore.
It's easy to forget that Mia Hutchinson is only 17.
If it's really, really bad, I'll just like take a break like for 5 minutes.
Ask her how she's doing, and she'll tell you she leans on her fellow listeners as well.
I usually am able to get my support just from the other people who are in the Zoom room, which is just so lovely that I can have just like that immediate help with me at all times.
Teens supporting teens in tough times. I'm Asha Qureshi reporting.
Helping families in need. One organization is connecting communities to wellness with a simple idea. And who's hiring? We'll tell you about a company hoping to add dozens of people to its payroll. You're watching the Rebound South Florida.
For months now, organizations across South Florida have stepped up to help those in need during this pandemic. From free groceries to educational workshops, communities are coming together to give a little relief to families. Our chief photojournalist Ismael Lewis takes us to a weekly drive-through pantry in Opa-locka.
Health in the Hood is a nonprofit that plant community gardens to bring communities together and to solve food insecurity. During COVID, we started doing pull-up pantries to feed the people that were in most need. We do this twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays in Opa-locka. Today, for example, they got 6 prepared meals. The meals came from World Central Kitchen and the Miami Dolphins. And we also get food from Feeding South Florida and Farm Share. Today we fed about 250. They come every week, they know our names, we know their names.
The Filling Fridges drive-through pantry is every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. at the Opa-locka Community Development Corporation. The address is 675 Ali Baba Avenue.
I'm just going to have to be smart about it, and I think that's what we all really have to do.
Here's what's next. Tourism Rebound. What it will take to bring the state's biggest economic driver back to pre-pandemic levels. Getting through this with stories to help get back on track as we rebound in South Florida.
I'm Forrest Saunders at the Capitol. If Florida is going to rebound from COVID-19, its tourism industry needs to recover, and it won't be easy. Tourism officials have to balance success with safety as new, more infectious versions of the virus spread. The hottest months of travel season are ahead for Florida. Spring break, summer vacations, and those quick getaways.
Oh my gosh, yes. I love traveling.
Peggy Rigsby looking forward to it until COVID concerns canceled their plans.
I haven't scheduled any for 2021 because I don't really know what's going to happen.
That hesitancy isn't uncommon. Recent national polling shows a lot of travel apprehension right now, especially by air. Only 48% of Americans planning to book flights in 2021. Most want to wait until next year.
We are committed to bringing visitors in a safe way back to the state of Florida.
Enter the state's tourism marketing agency, Visit Florida. After a 34% drop in visitors in 2020, the lowest since 2010, officials now ramping up efforts to recover.
It's absolutely critical for the recovery of our state economy. The tourism industry here in Florida is our #1 economic driver.
Dana Young says Visit Florida had success last year targeting in-state travelers, so they're expanding with a winter campaign.
Say yes to new horizons.
Those under tight virus protection like the Midwest and West Coast in the crosshairs of ads like this.
We have what people are looking for, which is a chance to get out and enjoy nature and enjoy the weather and just have a little taste of freedom.
Freedom that may come at a cost. New, more infectious variants of the virus continue to spread faster here.
Okay, I'm ready.
You're done.
And despite vaccination increasing, federal health officials warn recent case decline isn't connected.
We believe that much of the surge of disease happened related to the holidays, related to travel. And so we believe that now we're coming down from that.
Another surge of travel and lax mitigation could put us back where we were. It's why the CDC continues to discourage unnecessary trips. Visit Florida caught between safety and success.
How do you balance that?
As we've seen at some of our theme parks like Disney, Universal, Legoland, etc., they have been able to be open without having any major issues whatsoever. So we believe that people can come to Florida today and have a fantastic time with family and friends.
Rigsby won't be among them, however. Though she has both vaccine doses, she's waiting for COVID's cancellation before rescheduling her plans.
I'm just going to have to be smart about it. And I think that's what we all really have to do.
At the Capitol, Forrest Saunders, WSFL TV.
We know many of you have lost your jobs during the pandemic, and we want to help find the job that's right for you. So who's hiring? A company that transforms underutilized urban spaces into neighborhood hubs is looking for dozens of workers right here in South Florida.
Located in neighborhood parking lots and garages, Reef Technology partners with local restaurants to prepare their exact foods. So when you order from a third-party delivery service like Uber Eats or Postmates, you're probably getting the food that's made in one of Reef's kitchens. In addition, they added a number of service providers as partners.
We have an ecosystem of partners that we work with in the restaurant space, the healthcare space, retail space. We work with logistics providers, companies such as DHL, to bring packages to people in their offices and residences.
With the pandemic changing the way people are consuming goods and services, according to Philippe St. Just with Reef, the company has seen more change in the past 10 months than the last 10 years. With the change came expansion and job opportunities.
We currently have 350 job openings in South Florida, with 100 additional roles that are going to be added soon, and nearly 900 nationwide. And the jobs that we offer are hourly and salaried roles across all of the varied specialties in parking, engineering, real estate, business development, marketing, culinary operations, and many more.
What do you specifically look for when a candidate comes in?
Reef very much has a startup mentality. And so we look for candidates that are adaptable, that think on their feet, are curious, and are interested in achieving something big.
Before Reef, Justin Augustin worked in the travel industry.
With the volatility of the job industry being brought to light by the pandemic, I wanted to make sure that my next option was more of a long-term fit.
Now working as a senior growth marketing associate for Reef, he says he likes how big the company is. It gives him not only an opportunity to grow, but to explore other departments.
I'm in a kind of like an analytics-based, numbers-driven department, but I also personally have creative hobbies on the side. So looking into a position with the content creation team in the future, that doesn't seem too far off.
Reef is driven by a big vision, and everyone that works at Reef needs to share that vision and be passionate about changing how cities are structured and how cities function.
You can find more information and apply at reeftechnology.com/careers.
As part of our Black History Month celebration, WSFL TV is going out into the community to find those who have impacted lives across South Florida. Up next, the story of a Miami pilot who's helping young dreams soar.
In honor of Black History Month, each week we've been highlighting people who've made a difference and have touched lives in South Florida. Tonight we're sharing the story of a pilot who broke world records and inspires students to never stop reaching for the sky.
So we're going to use this torque wrench to accomplish what?
8 main bolts that hold the propeller to the flange.
At age 15, Captain Barrington Irvin, who was born in Jamaica and grew up in Miami, knew he wanted to become a pilot.
My life was changed by a United Airlines pilot, Captain Gary Robinson, who took the time to talk to me in a store.
Little did he know that conversation would change his life and thousands more.
Back in 2007, I thought for sure a black man had flown solo around the world. And I realized they just were never given that opportunity.
At age 23, Captain Irving became the youngest person and only African American to fly solo around the world, a 97-day journey flying 30,000 miles, setting 2 world records.
When I walk into a room and someone announces me that way, the kids raises their heads in the classroom. You know, so you realize the empowerment that it provides to others. Not only young black children, but other minorities and all types of children.
His name is Captain Barrington Irvin.
I want to welcome you. This is going to be a fun and amazing experience.
When he returned from his trip, he created the Flying Classroom for students who are passionate about aviation. The program leads them on virtual global expeditions through STEM projects.
At Experience Aviation, we give students the opportunity to utilize aviation to understand how do you practically use math and science in the real world. So that's what we've been doing for years under our nonprofit. But then it expanded to the Flying Classroom. And that's where we sell curriculum to school districts all across the country to bring to life science, technology, engineering, and math.
This isn't someone like in my textbook who I can, one day I hope I can be the first black president, right? Everyone knows about it. But knowing someone personally, seeing the human side of it, just really showed me just how realistic, your goals can be.
The program has made an impact on students like Zion Moss, working at SpaceX this summer.
I want to be the first astronaut to land on Mars, I know the first pilot and the first pilot flying on the world solo. And I see, what he did, and he's not Superman. He didn't come like this great, amazing advantage over everyone. He simply worked hard for what he wanted to achieve. And so having that inspiration really helps, push me through all of my adversities.
I'll never forget the first thing I told the pilot who mentored me. When he introduced me to aviation, I said, I don't think I'm smart enough to do this. Imagine if I would have believed that. I wouldn't be standing here right now. So that is a huge component, is that you have to believe whatever life throws you, you deserve it.
Captain Irving has mentored hundreds of thousands of students around the world through the Flying Classroom. If you're interested, you can find more information on flyingclassroom.com. No matter where you live in South Florida, there's a sense of community. And for those who move away, coming back home makes life more meaningful, especially when you can give back in a place that's dear to your heart. Here's Johara Witter in Homestead.
I was the first in my family to be born in the United States. We lived in Connecticut until I was 14. And then we moved to Homestead. I love going to Homestead City Hall to skate. I work as a mental health counselor, so I provide services for minors who have experienced trauma. Living in different places made me really appreciate things that were unique to being here.